Welcome back to the Getting Results Inc. podcast. I'm your host, Coach Gino, and this is the show where financial advisors come to get the strategies, the systems, and the slight edges they need to build a business they're proud of and a life they actually love. And alongside with me is Super Coach Ken. Super Coach, how are you, man?
Doing wonderful. We've been battling to keep America safe for capitalism, hence our little break in the podcast period. But we've taken major ground, keeping America safe.
No doubt. Like I told you the other day, I've been getting hate mail, texts saying, where's the podcast? What's happened out there?
I mean, our
when
fans,
do we get another episode?
Fans are brutal, unforgiving.
Yeah.
Unforgiving. Because they too are committed to keeping America safe for capitalism.
That's right. And they're actually another layer of accountability and community we need to keep this thing going, right? So
because what's scary, Gino, there's a lot of commies around us.
Yes, indeed. But today's topic will not be on that, Super Coach, because today we are going to break down the top 7 slight edges to become a $1 million producing financial advisor. That's right. The top 7 slight edges. So Super Coach and I are going to walk through each one together, and we'll make sure you're very clear on what that edge is, and take some notes. Be ready to go, because I know if you're not a $1 million producer, that's kind of that little goal that most people want to at least get to. Of course, they'll figure out that there's really nothing that happens when they get to $1 million, but that's beside the point. Let's get there. Let's see how that goes.
If you are a $1 million producer and you want to become a 3, 4, 5, same principles apply.
Absolutely. All right. So slight edge number 1 for all our listeners is this: design your day before the day designs you. Okay. So we know that a lot of our clients, a lot of people will ask the question, hey, who's in control of your calendar, right? How are you structuring your day and your time? Do you come into work knowing exactly what you're going to be doing? And are they your top priorities, or are you defaulting to email and reaction to clients' crises and voicemails and all that unplanned stuff? And then wonder at the end of the day why you didn't get anything done. So Super Coach, why is this so important?
I think the simplest answer is it's really easy to get distracted. Right? The key to success is not about being focused. It's about not being distracted. Because if you're not distracted, then the only thing you can do is to be focused. But this begets a very deep, philosophic, maybe even Socratic question in that, what should I focus on? What is important? Well, the fast answer is what you discern to be important, or what you wrote down for your plan of the day, etc. If you've listened to some of our other stuff, you've heard me or us wax about the law of unequal distribution. Okay. Now, let's make believe you're not a planner of your day, which is fine. Okay. But if you're not, you're then subject to randomness. So the quick hack, if you are not a planner and you don't like to write things down, the quick hack, if you will, of course, there is no such thing, but we'll feed it to you anyway, is that there's one item that provides the majority of the value for your entire day. It's one item, one thing. What's the one thing to do? And whatever that one thing is, write it down, ideally before you begin your day. Why before you begin the day? Because once the day begins, you become subject to the bright and shiny, distraction. Somebody throws a grenade in the office. I don't mean that literally, I mean it figuratively. Or something goes sideways. So that's a quick hack. Once again, what you give attention to, you will get more of. Designing your day gives you a hint on what to give attention to.
Perfectly said. And, listen, this is about discipline and having a level of discipline just to make sure to, what Super Coach's point, put your attention on the right stuff. So here's a tip. Take on Sunday or early Monday, but Sunday, Saturday, whatever, before the week starts, identify what your top priorities are. What do you want to give your attention to? Especially that one important one each day, that if you get that thing handled, you're moving the needle and you're getting that slight edge, which Super Coach always says, slight edges compound over time. And if you keep doing it, it'll grow.
And lead to exponential results.
Beautiful. All right, Super Coach, I like that. All right, so let's go to slight edge number 2.
Number 2.
Have an anvil, right? Consistent activity drives consistent production, as we all hopefully know out there if you haven't heard us say this before. But, I love this whole anvil thing because when we first tell our clients about it, they're like, what, an anvil? What the heck is this? So Super Coach, what's an anvil?
An anvil, just like go to your local blacksmith. There isn't anymore. But if you saw one on TV, right, they're always they're beating metal against an anvil, right? It's the will of the blacksmith, the consistency of the blows, and the consistency of the anvil. The anvil never changes. As Coach Gino was saying, consistent activity drives consistent production. So what is that activity for you that if you did it consistently would continue to drive production? Or we can spin this in other ways. It's what are the repeatable activities that help you stay centered, engaged, and excited about your business? Okay.
Yep.
And have you identified them? Are you doing them consistently? So I think a big part of success in this business is mind management, is self-regulating, is how can you regulate yourself to stay in an optimal state over long periods of time. So these little anvil projects can help you with that.
Super Coach, and like you said, with planning your day, in that you're subject to women fancy and default if you don't have something specific to put your attention on and focus on. Well, same thing with this, right? If you don't find that consistent thing that you can do all the time, you're going to be subject to women fancy. You start something and you try it for a little bit, you stop, and then you try something else, you start, you stop, but there's no consistency. Most people, if they had just continued on, with consistent activity, they may have reached it with what they were doing. It's just a matter of the discipline to keep doing it.
Spot on. As we've said in other podcasts, everything works. You just need to choose what do you want to work for you. And literally everything does work. LinkedIn ads, cold calls, meetings, canvassing neighborhoods, having dinners, golfing, gunning, fishing. Everything works. Okay? But the magic sauce is the consistency of the everything that you're doing. So if you anvilize the project, you have daily targets, weekly targets, so that there is a tangible target to hit. You will know if you are either completing upon task or not completing task. What gets measured gets managed, right? And it's none of this stuff is rocket science. The distinction is manage thyself and know thyself is easily distracted, and you want to do what you want when you want, which gets a little weird really, really quickly, especially if you ask yourself, which I is showing up, which you is here today. There's lots of versions of you.
Yep. No doubt. And, going back, it's, don't chase shiny objects. Don't get distracted by all the other stuff, which takes you away from your main priority. That's the beauty of the anvil. It's, hey, what's my activity? What's that task I'm going to do, and keep swinging the hammer on and not get distracted. And if I can get that thing done, man, if I do that consistently, the result will be there.
Spot on.
All right, good. So for those of you listening, you got to identify what your anvil is. And by the way, if you're still not sure about anvil, we also did a podcast on Bring the Bang about anvil. So check that podcast out. We're not going to get into it much today, but also Super Coach wrote a great article on Bring the Bang as well. So you can go to gettingresultsinc.com under resources and go to our articles and type in Bring the Bang, and you'll see that there's an anvil article out there that you can learn more about the anvil as well. So good stuff there. So that's number 2. Slight edge number 3, follow the champion path. So this is a good one, Super Coach, and this was one that really, I think is that long term. You follow this path and you stay disciplined to that path. Great things are going to happen. So, what is the champion path?
It's the champion path is the magic. Well, the champion path goes into a lot of our principles. Like everything always ties together. So one of the principles we shared earlier, even in this podcast, is what you give attention to, you get more of. Another thing I mentioned just simply in how you're planning your day is the law of unequal distribution. And because things are not distributed equally, or in the famous words of George Orwell from Animal Farm or Napoleon the Pig that they wrote up on the barnyard wall, they wrote, all animals are equal. But after the putsch, and they took over and turned it into an totalitarian dictatorship, they changed it too. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. So just let me repeat that. Some animals are more equal than others. And if you can figure out, which you can, who the more equal clients that you have and shine them with love and attention and build a first class cabin around them, you will be rewarded exponentially for that. There's always the danger, always the danger. I even had a conversation with one of my clients yesterday. There's a big difference between being busy and being effective. It's really easy to be busy, right? And it's also easy to be effective, but if you're really busy, you don't think to be effective. And this was a really simple conversation that went something like this. Oh man, I got invited to go play golf with some muckety mucks, well connected, powerful people, but they invited me on a Thursday. And I have to work on Thursdays. I can only golf on Saturdays and Sundays. And I was like, wow, it sounds like you're very busy, but not very effective. Okay. So all of you out there, the quick answer to that is go golf. And if you're a fan of our work, good news, bad news here, you're always working. Okay. You're always on, much like you're always living. Okay. You wouldn't argue with me if I said, hey, you're always living and breathing. But if I do say you're always working, then you start arguing. Okay. Elite performance requires elite behaviors, which means you're always on. And it's better to be effective than to be busy. So once again, we go back to this champion path. That means you have to discern who's in the first class cabin. Does that mean you golf with anybody at any time, anywhere? No. But if it's part of your champions, the answer should be yes. Okay. Begets a question, why? Probability stack in your favor. The right kind of people know more of the right kind of people. Your business, my business, our business is all based on two simple principles. People like you, people trust you. Golfing is one way of many ways to accelerate that likability and trust, which we can talk for hours on that, but just take it at that. It's one way of many ways to accelerate likability and trust. And it is in your best interest to know who to golf with, or shoot guns with, or go fishing with, or go to the theater with, or go count stamps with, whatever your thing is.
Super coach, I think this word attention is going to keep coming up, right? But it's, if you give attention to the right people, guess what? They will give their attention back to you. And that's a good thing, especially if it's the right people that you're looking to give attention to, right? So I had a client recently giving attention to his top part of his first class cabin, did lunch, hadn't talked to the client for months, a couple months beforehand, and then soon after, within that week, the client reached out 3 different times after they had that lunch, and now he's getting some new assets from that client. Give attention, get attention. Champion path.
Hold on. That's a great one. Give attention, get attention. Okay, who to give attention to? We have a whole system to figure that out, and it's not just based on production, but for kicks and giggles for everyone out there. How many ever clients you have, I don't care if you have 100, you have 1,000 of them. What you will discover is roughly, or not roughly, almost exactly 4% of those relationships will be related to or provide over 64% of your assets or your revenue.
Wow.
See, this is
Say
the
that
law
again,
of running.
Super coach. What was that? What were those numbers again?
4%.
Wow.
Right. 4% of your relationships, 64% of your business. Like everybody knows the 80-20 rule, right? Everybody's all gung-ho about the 80-20 rule and gets all excited about it. But even the 80-20 rule bifurcates attention, right? It's too much. It's too much. Okay, because if you have 400 relationships, 20% of 400 is what? 80? I think, right? Fast math. I'm not an advisor. So 80 people. That's still a lot. Okay. That's still a lot. But if we go to 4% of your relationships and you have 400 people, that's 16 people are over half of your revenue and half of your assets.
Oof.
Think
Huge.
about that for a moment. I know you don't believe me and you don't want to believe me. No one wants to believe me across the board. Just like most people in New York City don't want to believe that 1% of their tax base pays over 50% of the entire revenue. And since they're gung ho on taxing them, and when they leave, it'll cause a bankruptcy of the city. But what do I know? Who knows these things?
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to first class cabin.
So, so with that said, right? So something to think about is who's your 4%? Have you been giving them attention? And if you haven't, you might want to get those people down into your calendar and get in front of those people and give them attention.
Spot on.
Get attention back.
And remember things that we talked about in the past about this concept of an A activity. An A activity is something that's important but not urgent. Now, here's the real kicker to this one. And the results are often not immediate. Okay. And since the results are not immediate, you don't get the dopamine hit, and then you think the shit doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And you do some other weird activity instead of the right activities. So just once again, use brains. Like when you were little kids, remember what your mother said. Hey, at least my mother. Hey, Kenny, don't hang out with those boys. You're going to get in trouble. What did I do? I hung out with those boys and I got in trouble, of course. So if things work for bad, they must also work for good. Right? So once again, when you're giving attention to the right kind of people, the right kind of things happen. It's just that the rewards are often not immediate. And like I've been saying to a lot of my coaching clients lately, is that you have to pay for the party first before they let you into the party. Well, how do I know it's a good party? Well, you're not going to know until you pay for the party first. And the only reason why you'd be paying for a party is because that you've heard it's good, or you've done your research, or it's being thrown by the right kind of people, or the right kind of people will be there. So you got to pay the toll first before you can cross the bridge. Yeah.
Super Coach, I just thought of something.
What's that?
When you think about these slight edges, there's the compounding, but there's also the layering. So you layer an anvil around your top 4% of your clients. Man, all of a sudden you are talking about compounding. It just kind of hit me like, bam, right there. Like if you had an anvil for that and you did it consistently, not expecting a result right away, but you're committed to the outcome, right? And you just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. God, just imagine what could be created out of that.
I mean, it's crazy. Right here, fast one. We'll make them up for people. We talked to 400 clients, 4%, 16 people. Okay, take one of those 16 people out to lunch, out to dinner, out for drinks, out for guns, out for fishing, out for a political debate. Don't do that. Okay. Once a week, every week for a year. And you're just repeating those 16 people. So it was 16 people. That's what, 4 weeks, 4 months. So you're going to be... It's roughly 3 lunches, dinners, or whatever in a month. Yep. With just if you did that, it's crazy. But it begets a question: well, why don't you do that? And the answer is because you get busy. The bright and shiny comes up, or you have 4 lunches and nothing happens. You're like, it doesn't work. Let me go do X. See, brains, intellect is a dangerous thing. Okay, because intellect gets bored very, very quickly.
Which leads us back to slight edge number 1. Have a design your day, plan your day, get clear. See, guys, these all stack together if you're not getting this yet. If you stack these things, this is really powerful. And this can, like Super Coach always said, further, faster, less fuel when you stack these slight edges.
Yeah. Once again, it's always slight edge. It's always, the scary part, it's always a small percentage of anything or everything that creates the majority of the value. Okay. Yep. I was just listening to a podcast about the Revolutionary War, America. 3% of the United States population back then, well, I believe was in the military. It was in the military. It fought for the revolution. Yep. Only 3%. But it's yet that 3% changed the world.
No doubt.
And if it wasn't for a handful of founding fathers, again, the United States probably wouldn't exist, and it's always crazy. Once again, it always blows my mind. If you look back at any of your businesses, you will find there are 1 or 2 people, maybe 3, which were phenomenally game changers for you.
Yep.
There are no guarantees in life, but we can stack probabilities. And this idea of the champion path, what you're doing is you're meeting with people who believe in you, who actually like you, who are great relationships, who trust you, who get the value that you are. And every time that you're around them, that reinforces that message, not only to them, but I believe more importantly to you, right? You get who you really are, right? It's value for value. See, the people that pay you the most also value you the most. It's the fastest way I can tell if somebody values you. They pay you. Right? The less they pay you, the less they value you. Is that fair or is that nice? No, it's just the truth. Right? It's the truth.
Yep. Yep. Super coach, love it. Love it. Let's go to slide edge number 4, because this ties into what you just said. And I think they all stack. Build a client experience, not just a client relationship. And think about your client service model. Do you have one? Are your top clients getting the attention they deserve? And to Super Coaches earlier, some clients are more equal than others. Are you treating them that way? So Super Coach, what do you think about that?
For most advisors, the answer is no. Right? Well, like standard thing. Hey, I got tickets to the baseball game. Oh yeah? How many tickets did you get? 100.
A lot of tickets.
It's for 100 of my top clients. I'm like, 100? That's a lot. Like, oh yeah, but it's really cool for my top 100. Once again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. It's good. You're going to baseball. But here's a scary thing too. Sometimes, hey, I got 100 tickets to the baseball game. Awesome. I'm gonna take 100 of my top clients. Pretty cool. What team you going? Oh, I don't know. I don't even like baseball. I'm like, oh. But everybody else is doing it this way, so I should too.
And then after the fact, right, is, hey, so did you get to spend some quality time with your clients? Which one?
Yeah.
Can you give 100 clients your attention? Again, guys, comes back to attention. Like, can you give 100 clients equal attention, or do you want to? Should you?
Yeah, should you? And do all 100 of those clients pay you equally? Or here's even worse: do they value you equally? Mm-hmm. Oh no, they all value me the same. Do they? They all pay you the same? Once again, answer is no. No. Sometimes common sense ain't so common.
Yep, no doubt. So what's your slight edge? You should have a client service model very clear, and the focus and your attention should be at the top end of that service model for sure. And if you haven't done one yet, again, go to our website. Ken wrote a great article around client service model, how to get started, how to create one. Or if you can't do it yourself, hire us. We can help you do that. We do that all the time.
Better idea is to hire us. You'll make more money if you hire us, but
it'll go quicker too. For sure.
Yeah, it'll go. It'll go quicker. Life will be better. You'll move with a lot more alignment.
More sustainable.
You'll become a lot more effective instead of busy. But podcast is not really a substitute for that. But hopefully you're feeling good. Listen to the podcast. That's what really matters. We want to make you feel good.
Yeah, that's it. Just feel good. And then
so we go back to the client experience idea. Like, there's an interesting thing with client experience. Is your office an A place? I mean, just ask yourself that. Is your office an A place? Does your office call to you? Right. Is it? And that's your first cut. Like when you walk up.
What do you mean by that? Does it call to you in what way?
Does it call to you? Does it enrich and reward you? Are you excited to be there? Does it pull forth your potential, your greatness, your does it call to you, right? And does it share what you want more of? Okay. Meaning, as we work with our clients, we help them define their A activities, their A places, and their A people. An A place, once again, is some place that calls you what you want more of. Some people want to play more golf. Okay, does your office reflect that? I think one of my better stories around this is I had a championship rodeo person who's an advisor, like top tier rodeo individual who was still a professional rodeo person in their 50s. And this dude, strong as an ox, but he always tried to keep cowboy life separate from financial advisor life. He didn't want the twain to mix because he didn't want anybody to judge him because he rode horses competitively. And I was like, that's dumb. And he said, that's the benefit of super coach, tell you the truth. I'm like, man, that's dumb. And he's like, well, why would you say that, Ken? Because you live in Texas. Like horses are like a big deal in Texas. And the more that you share yourself, the more vulnerable that you are, the more it allows you to connect with other people, right? A lot of offices are filled with awards and trophies to how great you are. There's a time and a place for that, or the diplomas on the wall to make you feel smart and to show that you're qualified. Cute, but as effective as you can, right? Is that really the place you want to create for that client service? Now, once again, I can be completely wrong. It's totally, and I have been wrong before, rarely, but right. But depends on, does your office call to you, and what is your client experience, and have you actually thought through that from the driveway, from your parking lot, to how you walk up the sidewalk, to when you open the door, to when you come in your reception area, if you have one, to if you're led to a conference room or a office. Like, what do you want the client to feel as they're traversing, your entranceway? Because remember, everything counts, right? And slight edges lead to exponential rates of return.
Attention to detail.
Does that make? Well, I was going to say, does that make sense? It does make sense, but it's a fun thing to play with.
Indeed. Awesome, super coach. All right, that was slight edge number 4. Let's move on to slight edge number 5. This is a good one. Invest in your own development, right? Like you're a client, right? Invest in you. What are you doing for you to grow you, enhance you, and really, keep that keep feeding the furnace, so to speak. So, super coach, what do you think about this one?
Why do your clients have you? I think that's one thing you should really ponder for a little bit, is why do your clients have you? Okay, and hopefully none of you are saying, I don't know. Maybe one of your answers is, well, I help guide them. I help them stay on the path to their retirement, to what their design is. Okay? Because they have a professional advisor or professional guide. Could they do it on themselves? Could they do it by themselves? Yes, they could, but more than likely they're going to screw it up, right? And you know that they're coming to you for a reason, right? For your guidance, and to keep them out of trouble and to keep them on the proper path. The next interesting question is like, okay, who do you have for that in your business? Right? Now, some of you may say it's your peers, or it's your leader, or it's your branch manager, or your complex director. Okay, how are they doing? Do you have a business that you love? Do you have a business, or are you really looking to retire? Are you bored? If you're bored, flatlined, etc., your leaders aren't doing a good job.
Yeah.
Right. Because what would it be like to be inspired by your business, excited about your business? Right, going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, right?
Yep.
And I say all those numbers because we've helped people get to all those numbers. And imagine what that would be like for your business. Because if you don't invest in you, what happens?
Super coach, I love what you said a long time ago, and I repeat it over and over again. Your business can only grow as much as you grow, and how big. So if you keep expanding yourself and keep growing, your business is forced to come along with you. And I love that.
Just that you can't be bigger than your business, and you can't be bigger than your money.
Yep.
So if you want those two things to grow, you need to grow first. Now, cheap hacks, if you will, like cheaper hacks. All right. Are you reading consistently? Are you using Audible? Are you watching the videos and reading the articles in the books?
Listening to podcasts.
Listening to podcasts. Obviously, you're listening to podcasts. So that's a step in the right direction. And maybe you're even working with AI, or I don't know, why not just work with AI? All options, but you also know something about it. You can turn off the AI, okay? And right, you want a person who actually interacts with you. Like, since the beginning of time, there has always been a student and a teacher, a Jedi and a Padawan. It's how a sensei and a student. It's how this stuff works. And once again, slight edges produce exponential rates of return. So invest in you, and you'd be amazed at the outcome.
Super Coach, were you referring that maybe a coach might help someone really develop themselves in their business, in their lives?
Exponentially.
Just in case those out there didn't get that.
It's exponential, and I think the simple reason there's a few. Structure sets you free. Okay. Structure sets you free. The community that you keep, you become. Okay. So what we do all day is we coach multi-million-dollar producers to make even more money and have more fun and to impact the world and to keep America safe for capitalism. Each day, every day, all of the time. It's not true, except weekends and when I'm on vacation. And in the cold plunge. No coaching in the cold plunge.
And if you're a listener of this podcast and you're not a client of ours, you should be.
You should be. Oh, there's no doubt.
Go to our site.
You should
read our assessment.
I mean, technically, it's foolish. It's foolish that you're not. Right? Yep. Because yes, of course we get paid, but you will make so much money. It's crazy. It is insane.
Yeah.
We should get paid in gold or something.
Yeah. Ooh. Bitcoin. Yes. Bitcoin? Should we do Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Could be.
Just kidding. I don't want any Bitcoin. All right. Cool. That's good stuff there, Super Coach. So let's go to slight edge number 6. Niche down to scale up. Super Coach, I know you love this one. I
love this. I literally do love this concept.
So what does this mean? What do we do here?
Well, here's a fun thing. The weirder your business is, the better. Right? The weirder your client base is, the better. Like niche, weird. Like becoming truly now everyone thinks, okay, I need to become a specialist in Arco's retirement plan or the nuclear bomb plant out in Amarillo, Texas, right? And no offense to you guys out there. Right? And there's nothing.
Don't hit any buttons. We're good.
Don't touch the buttons.
You don't know where I live. I'm not going to tell you where I live.
Don't touch the buttons. No offense to that, but niche, weird. The weirder your business is, like, who do you really serve? You can niche down that, okay, it's business owners. What kind of business owners? What kind of country? What else do they do? Are they business owners who like to hunt, to fish, or they're part of a political party, or they're a part of a church, or they're married, they're single, they're divorced, they're adopted, they're whatever. It's the niche that sets you free, that allows you to specialize in that particular arena. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to limit my options. I can do business with everyone and anyone. But yes, you can.
True. Okay?
You can, right? It's true. But how fun is that for you? Right? I can do business with anyone and everyone. You see, I think there's an illusion out there. Everyone wants to become an order taker. I just want to sit at my desk and have referrals thrown at me. And I just want to sit there and just process and make a lot of money. Okay, first is, how much is a lot of money? Right? Like at what point is like, all right, man, this is a lot of money. What am I going to do with it? Okay, A, how much is a lot of money? And B, being an order taker, how fun is that? I mean, like,
yeah, not only that, if you have random type of client, or everyone you work with, guess what you're going to receive in referrals?
Yeah, random.
Everyone of everything, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
Is that really what you want?
Right. In the infamous words of Gary, we won't name his last name to keep him safe. You guys, he's like, when you're hunting with a net or you're fishing with a net, you catch crabs and lobsters and they bite. Right? Right? When you fish with a net, you're going to scrounge stuff from the bottom. But if you're fishing with a pole, you're not going to catch a crab or a lobster 99.99% of the time. Okay.
Right.
Right. So, and what's really cool too is what you're fishing for defines everything else.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're throwing a net, that really doesn't define everything else. So, volume, once again, what are you fishing for? Where do you need to be? Like when you niche weird, if you truly know who you serve, you then know how to find them, how to attract them, how to be around them, how to
Yep.
speak the language that they use, how to accelerate likability and trust.
Yep. And Super Coach, here's a little exercise for all you out there. Print off your top 10, 15 clients and review them. What's their background? Who are they? What do they do? You will get a good idea of maybe who your niche is and who you might want to do more with. And go niche weird in those areas. If you see the commonalities, there's a good place to start.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, every time I've done this with someone, they're always like, I don't see any patterns whatsoever. There's absolutely no pattern. All of my clients are random. They happen because I either door knocked, cold called, etc. Everybody believes, not everybody, many advisors believe that their clients are random. Okay, now, hard truth here. If we define random, right? If we look in the dictionary and look up the word random, it simply means that all inputs are random. Like there is no consistent. Random means random. So if we look in your business, all of your inputs are not random, right? The one input that is consistent is you. So your clients are both a conscious and unconscious reflection of you. So what we do with getting results is help you figure out your slight edges, is help you figure out where you have the greatest probability of success with what kind of people. Like, where is the pattern? Notice the pattern, repeat the pattern. Because the hard truth is not everyone's your client, right? Here's another hard truth. Not everybody likes you. I know, shocking. Not everybody likes you. And there's even people you don't know and they don't like you. Right? Just because of how you look or where you live or your limp or you wear sandals and a suit. Okay? But since there's people that naturally don't like you, aha, if something works for bad, it must also work for good. There are people that naturally do like you, are inclined to like you, that your trust and likability are naturally accelerated with them. So those kind of people, it's like pushing a rock downhill. The people who don't like you, who you don't have natural compatibility with, are like pushing a rock uphill. Nothing wrong with either. Just depends on how many rocks you want to push in a day.
Yep. Beautiful. Well said. All right, Super Coach. Last but not least, slight edge number 7. We love this one.
There's another
Build your ecosystem. And a lot of people just saying that won't understand what we're talking about. But Super Coach, what exactly is an ecosystem?
Well, ecosystem, think of the chart that you're thinking of from science class with the ecosystem, the frogs, the ponds, the leaves, the ducks, and how everything cycles through. Because if it weren't for the ducks, you wouldn't have the pond. And if it wasn't for the pond, the frogs wouldn't be there. And they're all interconnected and they live in this happy, wonderful harmony ecosystem. Okay. If you listen to one of our past podcasts with Rob Wallace about creating an ecosystem, who was the hero from South Carolina who saved the lives from the hurricane in North Carolina. Once again, real life American hero there. You should listen to that podcast. He works and develops his ecosystem. And what it simply means is that you are clear how you are circulating either clients or prospects through your world. So if we just did this niche weird, right? That you found that you're really weird, and your weirdness is you like to fly airplanes, or you like planes and gravy for some reason. Gravy, okay? Like biscuits and gravy. Now I'm being really weird here because that's weird. You like to fly, and you go to Mama G's for biscuits and gravy. Those are the best things you've ever had in your life. So part of your ecosystem could be you can create this way. Now, why are we creating an ecosystem? So you can give consistent attention to the right kind of people. Okay. Remember, we'll go back to one of the beginning slight edges. Consistent attention to the right kind of people produces the right kind of results. We can either randomly do that then how do you track it? How do you know who wears it? It's hard, right? It's harder.
Yep.
But if you have an ecosystem, you have a structure. Once again, structure sets you free. You can now bring people through your ecosystem, creating more touches. And every touch that you create with someone, you create a probability wave that you'll discover an opportunity to be of service or create an introduction or simply say, hey, wow, that's really cool in what you're doing. Can I come? Can I see? Can I play? Right? Can you intersect yourself into that particular social circle? Why would you do that? Probability stack in your favor. Now, if you're really busy and ineffective, you can't do any of this stuff because your mind is smashed by your business because your business is owning you instead of you owning your business. But this really cool thing in ecosystem is ideally you want to do more of the things that you like to do and find out more people who also like to do the things that you like to do. Well, why is that? Well, because you like to do them. And if you like to do them, there's a greater probability of repetition, okay, and less probability of avoidance.
And this is where the fun part of the business comes into play, right? You're doing fun stuff that you're enjoying. It doesn't even feel like work. You're having fun.
Okay. So here's the example of the ecosystem between airplanes and gravy and grits, or biscuits and gravy. Okay. At the Mama G's restaurant, you've connected with interesting people. You know the owner of Mama G's, you're great friends, they're great clients, they're producing lots of income for you. You continually bring people to introduce them to Mama G's biscuits. And as you're having Mama G's biscuits with them, biscuits and gravy, Mama G's, they're spouting on you, saying how much of a great guy you are and how much of a great advisor you are. You're talking to your prospect or your client, eating gravy, dribbling down your chin. You say, hey, have you ever been on an airplane? Would you like to fly over your house? Have you ever seen your house from the sky? And of course, they're going to say no. And then you say, would you like to? Now we bump and pass from the gravy into the airplane place. Okay, so now we've had one touch of the gravy joint. Now we're cycling them through the airplane place. Now at the airplane place, it's going to show your competence. You're going to have pictures of either flying, of other great things that you've done. Your hangar is going to be awesome. Maybe you have a fridge in there with proper beverages. Maybe you have a bar, TV. It's a really cool place that people would want to hang out with. But it also shows, since your hangar is neat and orderly and you can fly, it reflects a level of competency, especially since Mama G, who just owns this giant restaurant, said you were the best dude ever, best financial advisor ever. Now this person gets to experience you in the airplane or in the hangar. You're up in the air. You're experiencing a high intensity event. Okay, you fly somebody over their house. They have never done that before. They're going to feel feelings of elation, excitement, etc. And those feelings are going to be transferred to you. Okay, and through this airplane ride, you find out that they're having a liquidity event. They need to transfer a 401k. They need to do something else. And you simply say, hey, I want you to know I can help you with that.
Yep.
Yeah? Yep. And then you shut your mouth. Yep. Okay? And right there, ladies and gentlemen, could be $1 million sale, $500,000 sale, building a great relationship, all from biscuits and gravy. Now, does that make sense? No. But is that how the human mind works? Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Why would someone do business with someone because of biscuits and gravy? It doesn't make sense until it makes a world of sense, because people do business with people that they like and trust. And here's a fascinating thing about like and trust. Wherever it's established, it is transferable into other arenas. Notice the person didn't say, hey, are you qualified to fly an airplane? Let me see your FAA records. No. Why? Why did they ask? Because they trusted you, right? Because Mama G passed the baton of trust around the biscuits and gravy. See, it's all a process. See, everybody wants everything right now and fast, and I got to close them right now. What if that wasn't true? So all of you have some very high-end prospects, or very high-end people, or people in your world that can absolutely change your outcome. But they won't do a financial plan. They won't give you statements, etc. For a very simple reason. They don't like and trust you. Right? So what that begets in deeper questions, you need to accelerate that likability and trust. How do you do that?
Put them on an airplane.
Yeah.
that you fly. That's
Right.
one way to build trust.
Spot on. Put them on an airplane. Yeah. Right.
Right?
But that's where that ecosystem comes from. Right. So you're putting them through that system to build that likability and trust. If you don't have the system or the structure, it's willy-nilly. Like I say this to all of our clients. I don't know if we've done a podcast on this one yet. Maybe we will. But many of our clients have been to Europe. And in Europe, there are a lot of castles and cathedrals. Now, if you know anything about history, the Europeans really like to kill each other. There's a lot of wars. There was a lot of wars for a long time in Europe. But yet, a lot of castles are still standing. Like, how could that be? Especially with the invention, that's not a word, invention of gunpowder. So why are there so many castles in Europe? It's for a very simple reason. Most castles in Europe or anywhere in the world did not fall by frontal assault. Somebody let somebody in through this secret grotto. So what is your secret grotto for accelerating likability and trust and building relationships? Okay. Now, some of you may think, well, I have wholesalers pay for dinner. So does everybody else. And that's not a bad thing, but is that the best thing that you can do to accelerate likability and trust? This is why we say ecosystem. Slight edges lead to exponential rates of return. How do you figure out what your ecosystem is? Usually it takes coaching, right? Or you just look at what are you naturally predicated to do? Like, what do you like to do? If you don't know, that's a negative. That's harder if you don't know. But anything that you like to do, if you or you have a natural predilection for it, can be stacked in your favor and can become part of your ecosystem. Because if your business is fun for you or calls you, once again, you are more likely, or probability speaking, you are more likely to repeat the action. Repetition goes back to Anvil, right? It's the repetition, it's the doing it again that leads to other opportunities. Once again, it's what are you willing to repeat over time? Okay. Now, there's some of you, I'm just going to grind it. I'm just going to do 50 calls a day, every day for the rest of my career. Awesome. Okay. That works. It really does. But does it work for you? Okay. Are you right? What if there was another way? Or what if you do your 50 calls a day and something that sort of calls to you? Like, for some reason, golf is on my head because Masters is going on. A lot of our clients design their businesses around golf. It doesn't have to be golf. It could be anything that you truly like to do. Drinking wine, eating food, biscuits and gravy, art, theater, what else? Hiking, biking,
Guns,
ceramics, paint,
running,
clubs, pickleball. People are crushing it through pickleball.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what it is. It just matters that you have something identified.
Yep.
It's in the famous words of Themistocles or some Greek general, my men do not fight to their purported level of valor. They fall back to their highest level of training.
Yep. Beautiful. All right. Let's bring this home, Super Coach. Let's just fire off the 7 again. So let's do this. So slight edge number 1, design your day before the day designs you. Number 2, have an anvil. Consistent activity drives consistent production. 3, follow the champion path. 4, build a client experience, not just a client relationship. 5, invest in your own development. 6, niche down to scale up. And number 7, which we just covered, build your ecosystem. Super Coach, any last words from you before we close out? Because really, that's the blueprint right there. That's the slight edges. None of them are complicated. It doesn't require a degree. They just require one thing, choosing to do these things and then executing on these small things on a regular basis. So, any other last words from you?
As we began the call, it's really easy to get distracted. Right? The key to success is not about being focused, it's about not being distracted. One of the reasons that getting results works is because you have a consistent conversation with your coach. Right? We bring you back to path, we bring you back to your design each week. Okay, and there is something magical in that or powerful in that Because once again, it's really easy to drift. And when you're constantly reminded about your anvil or about your ecosystem, or are you working your niche? Are you being in front of the right people? But not reminded in a harassing way, but in an inspiring way that like gets you back to path. Like really, what do you want to create? Because it is amazing that people who do $1 million in production, 2 million in production, $5 million in production, $8 million in production. Yes, they're smart, and yes, they're driven, and yes, they got chutzpah, if you will. But the beautiful thing is, it's not 10 times the amount that you have, right? It's this slight edge concept is real, and everything is a probability stack. And if you can figure out where you can stack probabilities, you will win consistently over long periods of time.
Yep. Well said, Super Coach. So as we close out our podcast today, to our listeners, hopefully you enjoyed this podcast and you'll like and share us. Please share us with peers, people that you know in your regions. We could be found on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and of course our website at gettingresultsinc.com. I really enjoyed it because these things are what makes it all fun of what we do for coaching and what clients are able to create in their business and life. With that, look forward to our next episode and be great.